What happens when a newly constructed villa falls into a sinkhole, trapping its residents inside? Residents' families and emergency personnel try to save them. The title of this film is Sinkhole, and it is quite interesting, funny at times, and full of adventure. This film begins on a rainy day. We see Park Dong-won and his family. Park is moving with his family to a new apartment, and he is having difficulty getting his belongings to the top of the building because his belongings are unable to travel any further due to a car that has been parked there. The car owner is also refusing to go outside. Comes out after much pleading, and his name is Man-soo, so he removes his car, and he replies to Park, saying, "You ruined my Sunday." And speak in a very rude manner. Park is now bringing his belongings into the building. Park is overjoyed to be in their new home, which they purchased. Park's son shows the marbles, which always spin in the same direction. When you throw that marble on the ground, it always goes in the same direction. They appear to fall on one side of the building, as if the building were tilted. Park goes to the gym the next day. The coach there is a Man-soo, and Park becomes enraged when he sees this. He begins to run from there because he cannot train with a rude person. Park had met Man-soo earlier in the rain. Park now asks Man-soo if their building is tilted on one side, but Man-soo denies it. Now Park in his office and begin researching tilted buildings on the internet. Along with this, everyone requested a party for Park's new home as well as a location. When Park gives the location, they say it's not in a good neighborhood. Then Park invites everyone to come and see for themselves what the place is like. Park returns home and places the marbles on the ground, and it continues in the same direction. He becomes very tense because he believes the building itself is tilted in this manner. The next day, Park goes to a photo shoot with his family, and he is once again surprised to see Man-soo as the photographer. Where Man-soo claims to work part-time at the gym and full-time on photo shoots. Park then dines with his family in a restaurant. After a few drinks, he believes we will take the cab. He dials cab and notices that the cab driver is also Man-soo. Man-soo claims that I sometimes drive the car, and then he violates all traffic laws while driving them home. Now, the next day at work, Park's friend Yoon wants to give something as a gift for the new house. Park tells him, "Give me money, I'll buy one myself," and Park goes out and buys a chair. He keeps swinging in it and refuses to let his son sit in it. That night, it began to rain, and we noticed a few cracks in the ground. The next morning, Man-soo notices that the glass has also been broken, and the blame is also placed on Man-soo for breaking the door. That's why his neighbors say he needs to fix the door. Park notices the cracks in the ground on his way to the office and reports them to the municipal council. The municipal council told Park that if all of the people who live in the buildings agree, we will take action. That's why Park wants to call them all and have a serious discussion about it, but when they get together, they start bickering over trivial matters. And the conversation ends there. After when Man-soo returns home, he tells his son that he should go to the terrace and smoke a cigarette because the neighbors are complaining about the smell of smoke. His son claims that I don't even smoke cigarettes. However, his son is a smoker. Now that Park has returned home with 4 friends from his office, it is Man-soo who is sticking foil in the door after breaking it. Everyone in the house is now eating dinner. His manager drinks too much, and as a result, he decides to confess his love to a girl who works in his office, which enrages Yoon because he also likes the girl. The manager then dashed here with the girl, and Yoon stopped. They'd had enough drinks, so Park calls Man-soo, who arrives with his cab and informs him of the exorbitant fare. That's why Park says, "You can sleep at my place." So Yoon from Park's office and another female employee from his office both stayed here today. The next morning, Park's wife plans to go to market but forgets to bring something essential. As a result, she sends her child to pick it up. Yoon then wakes up and rushes up because he has an important meeting today, but in the car, he recalls leaving his bag at Park's house. As soon as he returns to Park's house, he grabs his bag, flees, and jumps back into the car. However, the driver of the car becomes preoccupied with phone chit-chat. At the same time, Man-soo goes to everyone's house and asks if water is coming from their tap. We see a boy in a building whose mother tells him that you didn't have to talk to any stranger. That's why, even though he was inside, he didn't respond to Man-soo. The water in the entire building was now gone. Man-soo goes up to the roof to check, but his son is smoking a cigarette and sees this and hides. At the same time, there is a lot of water in the building next door. They are also watering the flowers. When Man-soo sees this, He feels strange, and the building begins to shake and penetrate the ground, as if there has been a huge pit under this building for years. Yoon's car also falls into the same pit as the entire building goes deep inside the ground. It first appears on the terrace, then crashes into Park's apartment, where Park helps him out of the car. When Yoon exits the car, both Park and Yoon rush to the room where Eunju is buried beneath the bed. This is the same office worker who spent the night here. She had been buried here for quite some time. Park is concerned about his family when Man-soo arrives. Man-soo claims that he saw him in the lift when he went down. Man-soo begins searching for his son in his apartment. He can't see his son's shoe from here. Man-soo then feels relieved because his son has left the building. They believe that only 4 of them are trapped inside the building. Even the phone network in the building is down right now. They would go outside and try to shout, but the building has sunk too deep into the ground for sound to reach outside. Then they hear a voice and confirm that Man-soo's son was buried here and that he was smoking a cigarette inside. Then these people come to his help. Man-soo's son says, "I know some survival tips from the internet. First look for food, then send a signal outside." The rescue team is attempting to enter the sinkhole when the ground begins to collapse. As a result, the rescuers would return. That is, the attempt to go down on them has completely failed. The remaining people who are being evacuated should be kept at a safe distance because the other building may collapse at any time. While everyone else is getting upset, Park is upset because his office's 2 employees are also stuck here. It begins to rain at night. These people set fire to the chair, and Park is heartbroken for his chair. The next morning, however, the rescue team sends a drone downstairs. However, the drone lost contact and crashed, which Park and his friends discovered. These people start talking to the drone because it has a camera and they believe someone is watching them from outside. The building then begins to collapse from one side. Yoon falls down. The girl from his office saves him by jumping on another rope, and both of them appear to have a romantic connection. Then these people start falling down again, and this time Man-soo falls into the mud pit. His son also jumps into the mud pit to save him. Both become trapped within. Park saves both of them by repeatedly breaking the window and pouring all of the mud down, while the drone begins to fly because its signals return and go up. And the rescue team watch this video. They learn that people are still alive below. Right now, it is being explained to the people that the neighboring building is collapsing and should be demolished before it collapses, but no one believes. But the old man would get up and say that we will have to do the last thing to save everyone. And the rescue team begins to demolish the buildings in a safe manner. Right now, we see Park talking to Man-soo, who informs everyone that no one else is in the building except us because I went to everyone's house and rang everyone's doorbell. But no one responded from within. But let me tell you guys, that boy, whose mother had told him not to talk to strangers, was still at home. He did not leave the house. Then we see Yoon and his friend in the car, who both sat down to talk and got very close. And they take some pictures, and she tells him about her family, and her mother must be worried about her. The rescue team from above then sends them torches, food, oxygen, and a phone. They are overjoyed when they see this. They were eventually able to contact the rescue team through use of phone. Park's wife informs him that our son is trapped in the building, which causes him great distress. Park's son had returned home to retrieve the goods, as we mentioned at the outset. After that, as soon as Park hears this, he begins looking for him in the parking lot. Here, the rescue team sends a team of rescuers down from above, but the neighboring building also falls into the same sinkhole, and the debris from the building blocks Park's route back. Park enters the parking lot and is injured as a result of the previous collapse. He finally finds his son in a car after a long search. The area begins to fill with water as a result of the rain, and an old lady is discovered in a building, along with a child who has died. This is the same child whose mother warned him not to approach strangers. Park asks the old lady to accompany her, but she refuses and instead cuts off the child's hair and gives it to Park, telling her to give it to the child's mother. Then Park returns upstairs with his son, but the water is filling up too quickly. Everyone begins looking for the bottle in order to construct the boat. Then a large tank drops from the neighboring building, and these people name it the Yellow Submarine. Everyone enters the tank except Man-soo, who remains outside because the tank's lid must be closed from the outside. This means Man-soo gave his life for all of them. Now that the water is full, the tank begins to rise quickly, but it's stuck in the rope, and Park and friends also discovered that the tank is stuck in the rope. That's why these people start jumping around inside the tank, causing the tank to tip over. Then a sharp object enters the tank, creating a huge hole, and the tank becomes stuck on the sharp object. However, Man-soo appears with oxygen in his mouth, which was delivered by the rescue team, and extracts the tank from the sharp object. And Yoon punched through the hole to prevent water from entering. Man-soo tried to hold his hand from outside, but the tank rose too quickly for him to hold it. When the tank was floating up, a rope became entangled in it and was tied to Mansu's leg, pulling him along with the tank. The tank rises and another hole is discovered within it. As a result of the new hole, water begins to fill very quickly. Mansu, who was outside the tank, comes up and saves them by opening the lid from above, and the rescuers see them as well, allowing these people to survive. Park goes to give the boy's hair to his mother, and finally Park meets his family, and we see a few months later in this scene that Park, Mansu, and Park wife all three went to meet Yoon, who married that girl. Throughout the day, they were having a good time together. They hear a loud exploding noise. These people are scared when they hear this sound, but it is just fireworks, and the movie ends here. If you liked the video, please like and subscribe.